Good afternoon, friends. Would like to request Preet Bhai, General Secretary JCF, to start the session.
Uh, uh, Friends, good
Hello.
afternoon. I request Pradeep Bhai Kapadia, President of JCF, to inaugurate the webinar.
Hi, friends. Good afternoon to everyone. It's pleasure welcoming you all, along with my Jain Chartered Accountant friends, amidst this lockdown. Yes, we all are locked down in the four walls of our house. And I think that's a big, big challenge. But I think this gives us an opportunity and I think a chance to change our it's a paradigm shift of thinking process. But I think we all are aware that only thing that is permanent is change. But what we as a professional can do is to find opportunities in these challenges. Yes, let's make all stumbling blocks into our stepping stones, all our scars as stars, and all our adversity into opportunity. And to help us in that, we have none other than a master, a genius in the field of finance, none other than CA Robin Banerjee. And I think Amrit Porwalji will be talking about him much, but I can only say that we are very fortunate to have him with us. He will speak on the changing global and Indian paradigm, challenge and opportunities for professionals, for finance professionals. With this, I welcome you all once again and over to Amrit Porwal. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep Bhai. It's my pleasure to introduce Sri Robin Banerjee. Robin Banerjee is Managing Director of Caprihans India Limited. Earlier, he has served in several multinational global corporations in senior leadership positions, including Hindustan Lever as General Manager, ArcelorMittal Germany as MD, Thomas Cook as Executive Director, SR Steel as Executive Director, and Suzlon Energy as Group CFO and member of the board. Robin is a Chartered Accountant, Cost Accountant, and Company Secretary, as well as MCOM. So he has completed Troika of all the three professional qualifications. He was nominated as the best CFO by magazine Business Today. He received the Rotary International Award for Ethical Businessman of the Year 2018-19. Yeah. He is Chairman CII Western India for Finance and Taxation Committee for 2021. He is a member of the Board of Studies for Independent Directors, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. Robin had earlier authored 3 books on indirect taxation, including one on ModVed, which went into 10 editions. He has recently authored 2 best-selling business non-fiction books titled Who Cheats and How, available in English, Hindi and Marathi. And second book is Who Blunders and How, just published. Friends, we have with us such a versatile personality, Robin, to take us through this today's presentation on challenges and opportunities in this before finance professional in this COVID scenario. Over to you, Robin.
Amritji, sorry, 1 minute. Amritji, I think we have other non-JCF members also. You can little bit on our Jain Chartered Accountant Federation, you can speak on this. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, sure. Friends, let me brief you about Jain Chartered Accountant Federation. This federation was established in 2006 with the blessings of Param Pujya Gurudev Sri Nai Padma Sagarji Maharaj Sahab. It covers all the sects of Jainism, Digambar, Shwetambar, Terapan, Stanakvasi, and at JCF we do hold various programs, events for not only for professional development but also towards self-development like personality development, habit workshop, faculty development, speed reading workshop, effective client communication, blog writing, marketing of CA services, etc. In addition to that, JCF also provides financial help to needy students. It also acts as a facilitator to hold to get secure mudra loans for businessmen and startup for various entrepreneurs. JCF do hold various educative seminars for members towards community development and enfoldment. JCF do undertake Samuhik Shamapna program as well as to promote friendship. We hold Tirth Yatra Kam Picnic and Fellowship program. In addition to that, every year we do felicitate all the new qualified chartered accountants at our various programs. At our annual mega event, we do give excellent awards to CA professionals who have been excelling in various fields. With this, I request Robin to start his presentation. Over to you, Robin bhai.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Things are obviously changing. Just imagine on a Sunday afternoon, we are sitting at home. I think there is a lot of echo. Can you all hear me, or is it my sound? Is the sound clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
The sound is clear.
Okay, maybe I'm getting an echo myself. So things are obviously changing on a Sunday afternoon. Normally, professionals like us should take a power nap, but now we have to all update ourselves where the world is going. So all of us know about the pandemic, the COVID. Everyone, in fact, most of you will know much more than what I know. What I'm trying to do today, perhaps a little different, hopefully after 60 minutes or so, maybe our understanding of the situation, both in global and India, the business economic situation perhaps might become a little more clearer, but there is no right or wrong answer. This is only a discussion, and I'm happy to take questions because I do not like a situation where there is just one monologue, I keep talking and you keep sleeping. It'd be nice if we can have a two-way communication. So as I go along, I would try to give you little opportunities of asking one or two questions so that all of us are awake, and also keep clarifying the issues as we go along. I would divide my talk into three parts. Normally, there could have been a PowerPoint presentation, but because the topic is so huge, and one has to cover it in around 60 minutes or so, a PowerPoint presentation, to my mind, made no sense. So therefore, we would do a little bit of loitering around the world, including India, as to where the scenario is heading for. I would first try to paint the picture of the Indian economy in a different light. I'm not an economist, I'm just one of you, and therefore I would try to look at the whole thing as businessman. Of course, you cannot look at business scenario unless you look at as an economist also. Some of the comments which I will make are apolitical. Please do understand, I do not belong to any political party, neither I have ever been, neither I shall. But some of the comments which I would make might seem to be biased, but those comments will be based on the economic policies and economics, not economic policy, but economics. And of course, happy to discuss, as I said, there is no right or wrong answer. So I will go through the economic scenario a little bit, how I think it's emerging in this scenario of complete tectonic change of the world. Number two, how the industries, the behavioral pattern of industries are going to change. And if the behavioral pattern of the entrepreneurs and the industry and the working community changes, we, the chartered accountants or the financial professionals, would also change. And we need to change to adapt. Number three, I would also like to little focus upon what opportunities for finance professionals are emerging. Honestly, I believe there is a new world for us. Rather than looking at it pessimistically, hopefully at the end of 60 minutes, some optimism might flow into our blood. So every discussion, every webinar, when I'm speaking to you, I'm sure there are another 5 webinars which are going on, and you had a chance to attend those, but you chose to attend this one, obviously thinking that this might be a little more work than the others are happening. And every webinar today, apart from webinars which are on tax related or law related, it's all on coronavirus. And whenever I attend these coronavirus webinars or discussions, I always find that they are all talking about the past. And they're talking about how things are so bad and things may remain bad. Therefore, I want to paint a picture a little differently. and try to be with me as much as possible. I'll try to be slow, but all of you are professionals. Maybe you'll be able to catch what I'm trying to say faster. There is a painting. We have a painting in front of us, which is a wonderful painting of the global economic scenario. But this painting, the canvas, has been splashed with black ink. And this black ink is nothing else but the COVID-19. Suddenly from nowhere, end of February, early March, a disease came or virus came. No one knows from where it came. Of course, people do understand from where it came. And perhaps where it came from, that's an opportunity for us, we the Indians. So suddenly this canvas, which had a picture, which is a picture painted, got splashed with black ink. And the painting has now become unclear. What will happen is, ladies and gentlemen, as the times go by, the black splash of black ink will slowly vanish and dissipate, and the original painting will come in front of us. What is happening today in the month of May, sitting today, we have forgotten how the original canvas looked like. We are just talking about canvas which has COVID on it. But what will happen when the COVID disappears? And that's the little painting of the picture which I would like to present, my dear friends, in front of you, so that we can look at the world perhaps a little differently than what you have looked so far. And unless this is a little different, why should you even attend a session like this? In this, over the last 2 years, India has significantly changed, significantly. And I want to tell you 5 legal changes which has happened, and 2 recent changes, one including which happened 24 hours before, is going to change India forever. The 5 legal changes, and being finance professionals, all of us have some idea of that, but maybe you have not looked at the way I am looking at it. One change which has happened is the change of putting our entrepreneurial community in the right frame. What happened? Historically, Indian entrepreneurs had this notion of, if I take a loan, a large loan, and if I'm not able to give back that loan, the bank will figure out how to sort that problem. And in the financial world, it is called restructuring. So whenever a large loan became bad, 30,000 crores, 20,000 crores, 10,000 crores, 5,000 crores, whatever the sum it is, it used to become bad. Most of us, and some of us, including me, I have done it myself. I've done an 18,000 crore restructuring when I was the group CFO for Suzulan Energy. We would go for restructuring. What is restructuring, ladies and gentlemen? Restructuring is nothing else but it is evergreening in a financial term, which means you get new money to pay back the old money. So when you get new money to pay back the old money, you as an entrepreneur or the entrepreneurial community would think, what happens if I take loan and I don't pay? They will figure it out. What is loan? What is a banking loan? Loan is nothing else but your and my money. We have kept our hard-earned savings in the banks, who in turn will give the savings and lend it onwards. And if the money doesn't come, your and my savings gets scuttled. Let's just see what has happened to the PMC Cooperative Bank. It's a classical case when government did not come to help that bank, the depositors lost money. So the first change, ladies and gentlemen, which has happened on 31st of March 2016, more or less, and which was, of course, to my mind, captained by the then RBI Governor Raghuraman Rajan, evergreening has stopped. No more evergreening. You can still find something here and there, but perhaps if it used to be 70%, now I think it's less than 5%, if not lesser than that. So one change has happened is evergreening has stopped. And that canvas is going to emerge again come 2 or 3 months later. The second change which has taken place in this world of commerce in India is the introduction of IBC, Insolvency Banking Code. Most of us are financial professionals. I don't need to explain what IBC is, but in short, what it means, ladies and gentlemen, is that if I'm an entrepreneur, and if I have taken a loan, and if I cannot pay the loan back on time, I of course get 90 days period first to be declared as NPA or not, and then I will get 330 days more. And if I cannot sort out my loan repayment, my company will be auctioned. Can you think of Can you think of the Ruya family thinking that the SR Steel will become ArcelorMittal ever before? Never. Can you imagine that Bhushan Steel will become Tata Steel? Did the Bhushan Steel people ever even dream, the wildest of the dream, they could think that their company will be taken away by someone else? Never. Now, that's true. That has come to be a truism in front of us. So another disciplinary action on the entrepreneurial community, which has changed the way finance professions and finance will be looked at forever, is the introduction of IBC. So first, evergreening stopping. Second, IBC introduction 2 years back. The third change which has happened, and all of you know that, is GST. Most of you, or many of you here on this call, would be GST experts. What has GST done? GST has made the country accountable. I would believe based on I am a businessman, I'm running companies, so I think almost 30% of the economy did not pay sales tax and excise duty. Now it's 30%, 25%, 20%, we can argue till the cows go home, but there was a significant portion of the economy before the introduction of GST, they were not paying all the indirect taxes. What was the advantage? Advantage is they had the tax leverage. They used to pay on tax leverage. So if I am paying my excise duty, honestly, my cost will be 110, and somebody who is not paying excise duty, his cost is 100. Obviously, the person who is selling at 100 would get the preference. And what happens? The country doesn't get the tax. No country in the world can progress if their businessman does not pay the tax. Tax needs to be collected. If the tax is not collected, how will the roads be built and dams will be constructed or railways will happen? GST has made the country more accountable. If the invoicing would have come in, which was obviously supposed to come in last month, but now that it is deferred because of COVID, of course, once invoicing comes, I believe 98 to 99% of the country will become accountable. Perhaps today is around 90%. Again, we can argue whether it's 90 or 85 or 95. That's another matter altogether. GST has made the country accountable, and no country can become developed country unless the country pays all its taxes and becomes accountable. The third change is GST introduction. Fourth one, I know all of you are finance people, and this fourth change, many of you may not concur with me. The fourth change is demonetization. Demonetization has singularly changed the way India will ever function. Good or bad, we are not going to argue on that. Surely it was not implemented properly, and it could have been implemented significantly better. Many of you, mixed all of your finance people, will say, but demonetization has failed. The primary logic on which you people will say that demonetization has failed is that when the demonetization took place, the quantum of currency available in India was 18 lakh crore, 18. And of this 18 lakh crore, 15 lakh crore, which is the high denomination currency, got demonetized. What is demonetization? You go and deposit your old cash and you will get new money or new cash or new currency. When the demonetization was taking place, we the finance people were saying that only 12 lakh crore will come back, and 3 lakh crore is the black money that will never come back because nobody wants to disclose their black money, and therefore the government will earn a profit of 3 lakh. However, what happened after demonetization? All 15 lakh crore came back, so demonetization has failed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if 3 lakh would have not come back, what would have happened? Would it be an income to the government of India? No. The currency issued is a contingent liability. And if 3 lakh crore would not have come back, the P&L account of the government would not have changed. The contingent liability of 3 lakh crore would have been written back. However, what demonetization has done is that we have 134 crore people, 1.34 billion, 134 crore. How many pays income tax? In the first 70 years of independence, how many people files income tax return? Only 1.5 crore. Most of you know the number, I'm sure. In the last 3 years, this number of 1.5 crore income tax pays, or income to people who are submitting income tax returns, have become from 1.5 crore to 6.5 crores. So what took 70 years, we could triple that in last 3 years. Why? Because all those who deposited money more than 5 lakhs cash and did not file income tax return or could not satisfactorily prove from there the money came in, they got a letter from the government. What therefore it has happened that all the 15 lakh crore which has got returned has become accountable. In the books of the government, somewhere in the books of the government, they know ये 15 lakh crore कहाँ किसका पास से आया था, which was not accounted for, and the government did not know where that 18 lakh crore was lying. Today they know where it is lying. If demonetization would not have taken place, GST would not have been successful. If GST would not have taken place, demonetization would not have been successful. That the fourth one also, to my mind, has made the country more disciplined. Of course, some sections of the economy did suffer because of cash. They were doing cash business, but please understand, any cash business, you were not paying taxes. And that's not good for any economy, any economic development whatsoever. That's economics, and it is not politics. In the fifth change, because you people are all finance professional, and perhaps you have not realized a significant change has happened in this world of commerce in India, is the introduction of NAFRA, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. This has singularly changed the way the world looks at our balance sheet and profit and loss account. NAFRA acts like a video camera. Sir, ladies and gentlemen, the chartered accountants earlier were being looked after by chartered accountants, the Institute of ICAI. Obviously, perhaps we were not looking after each other as much. But with a government overseeing body coming into picture, the world believes the quality of balance sheet and profit and loss account has improved. And I'm telling you, the M&A world has singularly changed, because now they know that if I get a balance sheet and profit and loss account, and because there is an NAFRA body, an overseeing body, the quality of the balance sheet and profit and loss account would have improved. It has, as you all know, well, in some form it has, because the number of auditors resigning and all that has increased significantly. Surely NAFRA has some role to play. Although to my mind, NAFRA hasn't even started working because they have still, the full 16-member team is still not appointed. The 5 things, ladies and gentlemen, has changed the world of commerce. So I'll just say the 5 things. It's the evergreening, the IBC, the GST, the demonetization, and NAFRA. 2 more things has happened. Maybe you have not noticed. Of course you have noticed, I'm sure. Another change which has happened in the last, let's say, 3 months or 4 months, or 5 months actually in December, the corporate rate of income tax has become 15%. This is absolute global standard. If you start a factory here and it's a newcomer factory, you pay 15%. It is global standard. If not, you pay around 25%. We are now, our corporate tax rates are global, and therefore you have seen that with the Chinese episode, you can see thousands, at least 1,000 companies are wanting to come to India. If this corporate rate of income tax would not have changed, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, this news item you wouldn't have seen. You would have seen Thailand is getting it, Cambodia is getting it, Vietnam is getting it, not India. And the last one, which has happened in the last 24 hours, many of you would have noticed it. The labor laws have started changing. Can you believe it? Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh have made Factories Act and Industrial Disputes Act not applicable, almost not applicable. Can you ever believe it that India can put up a factory without the Factories Act, Industrial Dispute Act not being made applicable? Barring, of course, a few class like women you cannot employ all the time and you need permission and so on and so forth. Oh, sorry, not women. Women you can employ because Factories Act is gone. Child labor you cannot employ because that was Factories Act provision. What has happened? 3 states have already changed the law, and now other states have to catch up. Even Maharashtra has started saying that, okay, instead of 18 hours, you can make labor work 12 hours. Impossible. This was unheard of. The country's economic system, the platform is changing so rapidly, ladies and gentlemen. One more information I want to put before I stop for a while to take the questions to ask you, is it making sense for you? The platform perhaps has changed. The last one is the pandemic attacked the world and India in the month of March. In the month of before that, how do you know as a finance professional that a country is doing well? What is that single factor which you need to consider to understand a country is doing well? You will say, oh, GDP growth. GDP is growing, is very good. GDP growth or per capita income growing is one single factor, but there could be another 2, 3, 4 factors. The second most important factor, which which lets you know that this is the country which will do well in the future, is called PMI index. PMI, Purchase Managers Index. PMI index is done every month all over the world. And they interview purchase managers to find out, are they optimistic or they're not optimistic? A score above 50 means there is a lot of optimism. A score below 50, of course, is pessimism. In the month of January, you may not have noticed, maybe you have missed it, the PMI index in India was 55.3, highest, second highest in last 7 years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was 55.3 in January. It was 54.5 in February. What actually I'm trying to make out, my dear friends, is India was in a takeoff stage. India was just zooming up, and we were perhaps not noticing. We were obviously, many of us were complaining, India, nothing is happening. India was zooming up, and suddenly the god became unfair, I think, in some form, and attacked each one of us in the world. 7.8 billion people got affected. 200 countries got affected. And that, in my view, is a good news. Why it is a good news? Because the whole world has got affected. Had only India got affected or somebody else got affected, we would have had to fight somebody who has not got affected. Now everyone is got affected. We have all become zero. We have to start again our lives, almost. We have to reinvent ourselves. But in this reinvention, there is one more information I want to give you. In this world, even a child knows who brought coronavirus. Even a child can tell you it's come from China. Do you think the world is going to believe and trust China again? No, that's not going to happen. And if China is not trusted, if China needs to be substituted and someone else needs to get into Chinese feet, is India. There is no other country who can do that. And no other country can have the size, the internal consumption, the manpower, and the demographic advantage. So if you look at the canvas, without the pandemic splash of black color, you will find that India is going to the canvas of India is going to brighten faster and more beautiful than many others. It is really, ladies and gentlemen, an optimistic time for us. Maybe I can take one or two questions if you have, and then I'll move into my next part of my presentation, how the business environment of habits are going to change. I think we the finance people are very, what would I say, very introverts, so we don't ask questions. No questions from anyone, even on writing? Okay. Okay, at least answer me that, did you understand what I said? Was my voice clear? Even if you may not have agreed, but did the voice become clear? Is that okay? Can I hear some yes or no on that?
Sir, they are posting in question tab, sir.
Okay, clear, Robin. You are quite clear. Absolutely fine. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, good.
Audience,
excellent.
Please post the questions in the question box. So Robin is welcoming all the questions from floor.
Yes, I will be very happy to get questions. Thank you, Punit. Okay, so because oh my God, if there is a two-way traffic, it obviously helps because it is nothing is right or wrong. It is just a view. Now let me move to the second part. How is the world of business going to behave in the near future? I would think, I do not know long term. I will paint a picture short term and medium term, because long term is too hazy for anyone to see. We can only predict in some form, but maybe short term and medium term will have more sanctity behind it. The first global change which has taken place is the oil price has become negative a few days back. Can you ever think of oil will become negative? 2 weeks back, if you wanted to buy oil, you would have got a 1 barrel oil, and somebody would have given you $42 to buy the oil. Can you believe it? Not $42 to pay to get the oil. You would have been paid. You would have received $42 to keep oil. So the whole oil pricing, of course, since last 3-4 days, the price of oil is slightly changing. And maybe some of you may not be aware. Just to clarify, you would have seen there is something called WTI crude price, and there is also a Brent crude price. WTI, which is the West Texas index, WTI oil is oil which is pumped out inside US and sold in US. These are all land oil, which comes from land. So this oil, WTI oil, which actually became negative at $42, $41, is not available to you and me in India. Then there is the Brent oil, the Brent crude. The Brent crude is the crude which is taken out from the North Sea. That means it's a sea, the oil which is in sea, and it is pumped out and stored in ships. And then their ships moves throughout the globe. 60% of global trade is Brent, and we buy Brent. There is a third one called Dubai crude, which is also linked to Brent and not WTI, because WTI is US specific. So when you look at the oil price, try to look at the Brent price, because sometimes you will see WTI, sometimes you will see Brent, and of course the Dubai price comes sometimes once in a while. So I thought I must mention this little concept. So oil price became negative. This is a huge issue, and of course now oil price is about, let's say Brent is about $25 to $30. Oh, even in the month of January, now it is May, the Brent was $60. So it's also already 50% lower when some recovery is taking place. This is one issue which has happened. The second issue which has happened is the concept will be, in terms of the globe, health will now precede wealth. All along, the world has run after wealth and not health. And that gives a singular change in the way the humans are going to behave. And there will be a lot of opportunities for you and me. The third change which will happen, which actually should have happened long back, is climate change is going to take up precedence. With Mr. Trump coming in about 5 years back, he shed aside the climate change. Under Obama regime, US was one of the backers of climate change, and therefore a lot of actions were taking place, and then all took a backseat. Climate change, now the world has realized that unless something we do to this whole world, the world will be taken over by animals and of course viruses. So the climate change is going to take place again, the concept of climate change. And therefore, all those who are involved in climate change business, which was doing extremely badly, I know for sure, wind and solar were suffering no ends, that is going to come back on the platter very soon. The next change which will happen is, will the world grow this year, 2021? If the lockdown continues for 3 months, which is March, April, May, sorry, actually it is April, May, June. India started a little earlier, and therefore we got results also. Only 62,000 or so got affected so far, where CMI apparently saying that at this point of time, we should have about 3 crore affected, by the way. And if it's today's newspaper item, if the social distancing or lockdown would not have affected, India would have got 17 crore affected people out of 134, just for information. So a lot of people are criticizing lockdown. A lot of industrialists are saying lockdown should be open because we need to make people work. For sure, we need to make people work. But the world is not going to be the same of people work anymore. People will have to work and shall work with social distancing. And that's something we will discuss a little later. So in 3 months, April, May, June, the shutdown continues. The world will degrow by 3%. And if this grows April, May, June, July, August, September, another quarter, the world will degrow by another 3%, so 6%. So chances are the world will actually degrow this year between 4 to 6%. So please try to understand there's no positivity in GDP. That GDP is going to shrink globally. The WTO, the World Trade Organization, has estimated that this pandemic is going to reduce the merchandise flow between 15% and 35%. Now, what does it mean? That lesser ships are going to ply, lesser rails are going to ply, of course, lesser air cargo is going to fly, and so on and so forth. So the world is going to slow down significantly. So in short, the global picture is, while the oil price is going to go down, which is good for us, economies like us, very bad for economy of Middle East. So people, our relatives or friends who were staying in Middle East are losing jobs, which in fact, many of them are coming back. That's the bad news. With the good news, it's very good for our economy. The world is going to shrink this year and the global trade flow is going to go down. However, the health will precede over wealth, and climate change, industries of climate change and climate change concerns will now start working back again. What happens to India? India has two good news. Of course, we see the Indian graph of COVID is going up, which is the bad news. But I want to give you some good news also. The way a virus like this is also looked at is something called a reproduction factor. If you do a Google anti-search, you will find it is called R0. It is not R0, it's called R0. The R0 index is called the reproduction factor. The reproduction factor of a virus, which means if one person has this virus, how many people can they give it to? It was 2.8. The reproduction factor or R0 factor for COVID was 2.8 to start with. In the month of March, when it started, it was 2.8. The good news is today it's 1.8. The RO factor or R0 factors come down from 2.8 to 1.8. The social distancing has already somewhat cut the umbilical cord already. And we are expecting this figure to come down to 0.98 by the end of this month, which is the end of May. And the countries will become open when the RO factor becomes 0.01. It will never become 0.00, never ever. Never ever will become 0.00. That means if you have somebody with COVID side by side, you will have 0.01% chance of catching it. But that's so limited. To give you the hope, the influenza, the common influenza, the influenza R0 factor is 1.7, which is the same level as COVID today. So don't get concerned. It's not so endemic or pandemic as we think so. Yes, the matter will obviously get settled once medicine and the vaccination gets invented. There are 92 vaccines world across which are on active consideration by WHO, and it seems there is a 7 to 10 of them looks extremely positive, of which one the Italian government has already disclosed 48 hours back that it works with human beings. So there is some ray of hope as far as India is concerned. The second is the second important issue for Indian business, which is likely to change, is the world will still have 7.8 billion people. They still will need food and clothing, and therefore the demand for the people will still continue. The demand is not going to go down anywhere. The demand is still there. And if the demand is there, they have to consume, they have to eat, they have to live, they have to have a house, they have to have their computers, their laptops, they will have to have everything. So somebody has to manufacture and provide and service them. So the demand, however, is going to shift. So the number of times you and me used to go for a movie will significantly go down, but I'm now going to watch the same movie sitting at my home. And I will go through industry by industry a little bit to explain to you how the changes are going to take place. Looks to be that the changes are going to take place. So therefore, what is going to happen? The industry is going to shift in some form. There is a good news, ladies and gentlemen, in India. You may have missed this again. Our harvest season is on. In India, the harvesting season is on. And this harvest season, India's total agricultural output has been 300 million tons, 292 million tons to be precise. It is 3% higher, which is 9 million tons higher than the last year. It is COVID time, please understand. If this figure is true, which is true because that's now the fact, this 3% growth in agricultural output will make our GDP, the India GDP, grow by 0.5%. So even assuming industry and manufacturing and service is flat, India still has a chance of growing 0.5%. This perhaps is the best case scenario, because chances are that manufacturing and service will remain flat, if not go down slightly. Axis Bank, for instance, has said that the GDP might go by 1.5%. Barclays Bank is saying 0.00, and some quarters, of course, are saying India might degrow by about 0.5% to 2%. whatever be the factor, we are not going to see that 6%, 7% degrowing, which the world is going to see, because India has its own consumption level itself. So what happens to the Indian business India's business thinking? The biggest thinking which is going to happen in India, perhaps in globally also, cash is going to become the emperor. We all heard that cash is the king. Ladies and gentlemen, cash is no longer the king. Cash is now King Kebab, emperor. So because cash is going to be so important, what will happen, ladies and gentlemen? Any business which has a shorter working capital cycle, and I can only speak about this to the finance professionals like you, because you will understand, every business will work on shorter business working capital cycle. So there are loads of businesses, manufacturing businesses, which buys on cash or almost near credit, zero credit, then sells on large credit. For instance, if I am making something from Reliance raw material, I have to pay Reliance immediately, but then I manufacture something, let's say a plastic sheet, and when I sell for 90 days credit. That's not going to happen anymore. That's then going to change. Either I will not pay Reliance on time, that means Reliance have to start giving credit, or if I have to pay, if I have to pay Reliance on cash, I will also start selling on cash. In short, ladies and gentlemen, the working capital cycle is going to shorten. Please advise your client accordingly. That old ways of doing business is past. It's not going to happen anymore. That's a significant change. We all know that handshakes are gone, and we have to now say namaste, which is fantastic. And also, many of us used to give each other a Modi hug, which I think you cannot give for next 1 year or so. So hugging and kissing perhaps now has to sit outside a little bit, at least amongst people whom you don't know well enough. What will also happen, which is a great opportunity for India, because health is now wealth, a lot of work will go on boosting health, and not boosting health, but working on the immunity system. And India's Ayurveda, and ladies and gentlemen on this call, please try to understand, Indian Ayurveda has very strong immunity system suggestions, like turmeric powder. We use haldi. In so many cases, in marriages, haldi, turmeric, is the most potent immunity booster. So if we can now turn this haldi into a major business opportunity, just imagine where we are sitting at. And there are so many. It is stated that eucalyptus oil, that's perfume, that smell, the aroma itself keeps away viruses. Now, things like that, India has. Another change which will take place is trust. Trust on one business or another is going to go down. Therefore, we are not going to trust anymore as much. That means you are not going to sell somebody on open credit without LC for 90 days and hope that the company is going to pay. That's not going to happen. If there is a credit, chances are there will be a bank guarantee on LC or letter of undertaking, letter of guarantees being backed up. Yeah, letter of undertaking is also letter of credit, same thing. So all this, so that there is going to be a change in which the credit business will work. As I'm again saying, chances are the working capital cycle is going to go down, and therefore selling and buying on cash or selling and buying on shorter credit is going to be the aim, because we are not going to trust us anymore. Another change which will take place, a lot of bankruptcies you are going to see. Lot of companies will become bankrupt, lot of companies. We are not seeing those bankruptcies as yet because there is a 3 months moratorium of the banking system. We have asked from CII, of which I chair the Finance and Tax Committee, to extend it by another 3 months. There is a possibility the government is going to, I think it might happen, but that's another matter altogether. But what will happen after that? The moment the bank's liability starts kicking in, forget about employee liability. Companies which are standing at the debtors, they are not paying their employees anyway. So it's a bank liability. The moment that starts kicking in, you will find bankruptcies taking place. That's likely to happen. I don't want to give you the bad news, but you could also see some suicides. So be careful. Those bad news might flow in. Therefore, in short, the whole behavioral pattern across the globe is going to change. The globe will move towards better health, better immunity system. Me versus we. Me is going to be now profound. People are not going to move around as much. Businesses are going to take place on letters and emails and webinars and so on and so forth. Trust will depend upon what was a past history. Future trust getting will be very important, difficult. You will find a lot of bankruptcies going to take place. Businesses are going to go bust, and therefore we come into picture. We, the finance team, comes into picture. So before I get into what we can do, I'm going to tell you some industries which are likely to do well. And if you have an entrepreneurial spirit within your stomach, then maybe you may like to look at these sectors. Sector number one, which will obviously booming, and all of you know, is health. Anything to do with health will boom. So try to figure out where is the gap in this health sector. One of the health sector gap in India is health centers. Health centers. There are hospitals we have, and there are pharmacies. There is nothing in middle, and that is called the health center. Health center, which is looked after by one or two doctors only, most based on consultants, which can house people and then recover. Germany, for instance, a huge health center concept. America, that health center is now apparently started booming. So that's, and health, of course, sanitization. It's another huge business which is coming in. I hope you know, sugar factories, which used to generate, of course, sugar, now have converted themselves to sanitizing company factories. They're all now making money. They are in last month, in the month of April, 163 new companies got set up to manufacture sanitizers in India. 163. It is not my number. It is Bloomberg number. So obviously it has some credibility. Just in the month of April, when the whole world was shut, 160 companies came up. Just imagine what will happen in May and June when things starts opening up. So sanitization business, again, immunity builder, to my mind, hasn't come out as yet, but that's a great opportunity. Health. So health is one sector. Second sector is food. World sources major quantum of food from China. Would you know that 50% of apple juice consumed in US and Europe is Chinese? 50% apple juice. Do you think they are going to buy Chinese apple juice again? I doubt very much. Who is the next best alternative? India. India has the best of best apple orchards, and 60 to 70% apples we don't even consume because it falls and rots, because we don't have the collection methodology, the warehouse, the logistics, and therefore converting. I'm just giving one example as to how food is going to be the next major breakthrough. So look at what the globally people buy and consume, and what is getting sourced from China, and that's where India needs to get in. Tomato ketchup is another. Tomatoes are all getting spoiled in India, but India imports tomato ketchup. Do you know that? Although India is the largest producer of tomato. So that's another opportunity for us. The third sector, perhaps we don't talk about, is the education sector. Education, India speaks English. We are intelligent. And now education will be through webinars of the world. This technology has to obviously improve and will improve once, I believe, this technology, webinar and data transfer and movie transfer and video transfer, will be significantly grow in the next 6 months and become better. Of course, 5G I still think is still far away, but a good 4G is what will happen in India. And therefore, if you want to do a good, let's say, web designing course, what will people look at? They will go to Harvard Business School and see what does Harvard Business School have. Why? No, they have to come to India to see what are the best courses. In fact, you will not find today the Indian IIMs and ISBs are giving good courses because it's all foreign. That's what we need to take, because now nobody will go to US. Nobody will go to London Business School to study. They will study London Business School sitting at home in India or wherever they are. So first is health, second is food, third is education. The fourth area is infrastructure. Contrary to popular belief, government will go a whole hog on infrastructure development. While the private capex is going to go down significantly, private companies are not going to invest in capex anymore, almost none. But the government capex is going to go up. Therefore, the steel and cement will start moving. In fact, I don't know whether you have picked up the story. The last 1 week, the number of trains, which is goods train, which is moving towards Orissa and Bihar, which are the green zones, as you know, out of 10 goods rails which are moving towards Bihar and Orissa, 7 are carrying cement. 7 out of 10 are carrying cement, which means infrastructure work has started. So that's a very good news. And the fifth one in the after infrastructure is exports. Exports are going to go up again with Indian rupee 77, 78, and with the Chinese demand being met by India. That will be another tectonic change which is going to take place. You have already heard that there are over 1,000 companies which are already looking at India as an option and stopping China as a manufacturing base. So just imagine what options are coming in for us. So of course, there are some sectors which will be having problems, and I'm happy to discuss those problems. As you all know, tourism, airlines, real estate, IT, some extent, yes. IT companies which are dependent upon US and Europe consumption and sales, that will suffer. But the back office, development of webinars and development of all these, forensic audit, for instance, forensic fraud, areas, that area, the IT will work quite well. Banking, most of the banks are sick. Many of the banks don't have a strong balance sheet. Those banks are going to suffer significantly. You might see bankruptcies in banking itself. And M&A, the mergers and acquisitions, are unlikely to happen much, except, of course, geo investment of Facebook. But that's a one-off situation that should not be taken as an instance. So the first part of my talk, I explained to you that the Indian canvas business is actually very strong, and I believe we will get a fairly strong canvas to work on once this COVID bhoot goes away. Second, there is going to be industrial shake-up in many industries. Good opportunities are going to come in front of us. I feel I'm happy to discuss that. I want to go to my third portion of my talk, but before that, any questions you have, I am happy to ask. It's 4 o'clock now. We have spoken for about 55 minutes. Yes, there is a question I can see. I will answer this question, which I already have on this. But if somebody wants to speak, please do, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Robin sir, I have a question. What about professionals? How our most of us are practicing professionals? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm hearing, sir.
Yeah. So most of us are practicing professionals. So how the things are going to fan out for professionals basically this year? And there will be many requests for fee cuts and other kind of requests. So how to tackle all these things? Can you throw some light?
That's the third portion of my talk. My third portion is what happens to us. Hamara kya hoga kal, yeah. So I'm just going to talk to you.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. There is a question here that if cash is going to be the king, what happens to SMEs? And nothing happens to SMEs. SMEs will also, cash is the king. Just because an SME doesn't mean he has to give cash and sell on credit. Just imagine a barber is an SME. Huh? The person who cuts your and my hair is an SME. But a barber, if you want to cut your hair and you want to you have to pay cash immediately. But just because SME doesn't mean there is no working capital cycle short. We just have to develop and invent that method. SME hai to sabko humko cash mein credit mein dena padega, then jab paisa aayega, that's gone. That is gone. And if you have a business, yes, an SME has that business where you have to give credit, the SME must walk out of that business. There is no way the business will succeed. There is no chance of the business going to succeed. So the whole concept of SME, as I told you, that the sugar factory people are going to manufacture sanitizers. Now you will say restaurants. Restaurants have fallen, and many restaurants are SMEs, and most of the restaurants are SMEs. Restaurant is gone to a large extent. People are not going to go and have fun in the restaurant as much as they used to, for sure. What happens? The home service business is going to grow. So there is going to be a tectonic change. Marriott, can you believe Marriott has now only doing home service? They are saying we will only have home service. So if Marriott goes into home service, why can't any other restaurant get into home service? That's the second. The third, what will happen is restaurants which has COVID compliant, those restaurants people will go. So they'll be written on the top, COVID compliant. You will find movie halls COVID compliant written. So those restaurants have to reinvent themselves to become COVID compliant. How do you become COVID compliant? Obviously, you have to think through it. You can't touch each other anymore. You need to have gaps. The kitchen has to be differently run. No hand touching is possible, and so on. Sanitization will be ordered of the day. It only will make our health more surer. Now, what's wrong with it? So every business has to reinvent itself. You have to ask yourself, or your business client or industries have to ask, am I relevant? Am I relevant anymore? If I'm not relevant, let us say I was a manufacturer of diaries and calendars. I was a manufacturer of diaries, calendars. Who will buy a diary next year? And if I still say maybe somebody will come and buy a diary, so let me have my business, it's not going to happen. So if you're not going to happen, nobody is going to buy a diary with my technology, with my ability, with my knowledge, what else can I do to fill up the gap? Because somebody is going to buy something. India has 95 lakh crore of bank advance and 21 lakh crore of cash. It used to be 18 lakh crore, now it is 21 lakh crore. वो तो है ना, पैसा तो अभी भी है, तभी भी था, अभी भी है. Now it's a question of figuring out how do I take out the money from the right source. So my third portion, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of us on this call and each finance professional, be it a CA, cost accountant, company secretary, MBA or MCOR or BCom, doesn't matter. Whoever, whatever finance professional we are, we all have to reinvent ourselves. We all have to reinvent. We all have to say, I used to do certain thing. I have certain skills today. Is it still relevant? You please ask yourself, my dear friends, am I doing relevant things? Even assuming for a moment, COVID would not have taken place. Let us assume that COVID would not have taken place. Would you still feel the world of accounting, the world of costing, the world of, let's say, auditing would have been still the same? Accounting is already moving towards ERPs already, and ERP is developing, and now it will develop much faster because of social distancing. Accounting will be done by machines. Auditing is already getting done by machines. So barring where we have to take a view, auditors will no longer will exist, let's say 8 to 10 years from today. Costing will be done by ERPs. Cost accountants are no longer, in any case, cost accounting has become now MIS, and management information system will come through artificial intelligence and big data, which we will discuss a little later. So the technological changes are going to give the management the inputs which the human beings are going to do. Another trade where many finance professionals are involved is share broking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to become a pass. That's no longer going to happen in the future, 5 years, 10 years down the line, because already algorithmic trading and artificial intelligence, machine learning, you go to an internet and a person can easily decide which share to buy. You don't need a broker anymore. After the recent fraud also, the broking community has got into some trouble. And therefore, where will these people, where we will go from here? So there are, even without COVID, these were in dangers, but with COVID, these professions, believe in me, are becoming more dangerous. So if we don't sit and think, then obviously my purpose, I have not been able to deliver a good job. And you people will then think, oh, after 2 or 3 years, ye karna chahiye tha. So kya karna chahiye? Main aapko bata raha hu. Some of the ideas, of course, there may be hundreds and thousands others, but a few of the ideas are: one, rather than becoming an accountant, you should become a finance person, which means how to raise money, debt and equity. Every entrepreneur will look for finance, and more so now. So many of us are accountant or internal auditors or tax experts or whatever. In fact, GST is another area, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to run out its importance. Another 2 to 3 years, it will be automated so much that most of the rigmaroles and the time and effort and money we are making on GST is not going to be there. So please be careful. That's another area which is under danger in terms of professional excellence. However, financing is going to be a very important. Now with COVID, it will become more important. People are going to run out of money. Cash is going to be the king. Bankers would like to lend, but whom to lend, they will not know. Therefore, a finance expert is going to be significantly better off. Even pre-COVID, if I am an accountant with, let's say, 20 years of experience, and if my salary was 20 lakhs, but if I was a finance manager, I was raising fund, my 20 lakh salary would have become 80 lakhs. And you know that. Okay, you can argue till this cows go home, how much is the figure, but the fact of the matter is there is 1:3 ratio, even pre-COVID. Post-COVID, I think the ratio will go up. So ladies and gentlemen, folded hands, financing, learn financing. Happy to discuss this later. Second area, which is going to be the winning proposition, is big data and artificial intelligence. We, the accountant, understands, we, the chartered accountants, we, the cost accountant, the company secretary, BCom, MCom, MBAs, understands figures best. If we don't understand, if we understand figures best, why can't we work on big data? Today, both big data and artificial intelligence are worked upon by IT guys. But IT can only do so much. Beyond that, they can't read the numbers. They can't do anything with it. If we, the accountants and the finance people and the IT guys get together, we can be a winner. AI and big data is a great opportunity sitting in front of us. The third is blockchain. Blockchain is the future of business. All of your finance people, so I hope you understand what is blockchain. Blockchain is, let us say, Mr. A sends goods to Mr. B. Mr. A sends goods to Mr. B. As soon as the goods go from A to B, it is recorded in a ledger. As soon as the goods are reached in B, it is recorded in a ledger. It's recorded in 12 simultaneous ledger. They're all self-maintained, self-audited. No unethical practice can happen. This is the concept of blockchain. Blockchain is live data collection and capturing. This concept, when it grows, can be used in hospitals, hotels, logistics, banking. I'll give you a hospital example. What beautiful it would happen if the hospital ownership, the entrepreneur gets to know which bed is getting released at what time, which doctor has come and administered at what medicine, was the medicine bought and given to the patient, how the patient was reacting, did the patient go to the operation which we thought he would because that's, or she would, because that's where the hospitals makes money. It's all on blockchain technology. This blockchain will change everything, and we understand accounting. It is not the IT guys who understand accounting, and blockchain is accounting. It is self-accounting. So if we can get into blockchain, understanding blockchain, I don't want to get into cryptocurrency or bitcoins. Of course, that's a subset of blockchain. That's to my mind is speculative, and that has no government control. Although many economists believe that cryptocurrency will start again after the so-called COVID, but I don't believe so. But I would rather think, forget about blockchain. If you understand blockchain, you will understand cryptocurrencies also. I would rather suggest that all of you start working on blockchain so that you can build business processes around it, and that we will have absolute winning propositions. And this, you don't need to travel. You can sit at home and do it. The fourth opportunity, so first was financing, the second was artificial intelligence and big data, third was blockchain and cryptocurrencies. The fourth as a consultant, and that's a question which was raised as a consultant, what we should do. You should not do anything. Auditing, accounting, start doing away with. Turnaround specialist. You should become a turnaround specialist. Every business now will need, 50% of business is going to go bust in some form. They will all need turnaround specialist. Who is a turnaround specialist? A turnaround specialist is someone who knows, who understands a 360 degrees view of a business. How to purchase, from where to purchase, how to make it, how to manufacture it, how to sell it, how to store it, how to logistic it, what is the IT strategy, what is the HR, what manpower will you have. There's a whole gamut of 360 degrees. A business, of course, financing. For sure, you need financing. So again, that financing comes into picture. Who else than a finance person who can give a 360 degrees view? Turnaround specialists are going to be the newfound consultancy profession. Join as soon as possible. You can still continue to be your accountant or auditors or whatever you're doing, continue. But Focus on turnaround, and start focusing and tell everybody I'm a turnaround specialist. मैं turnaround करता हूँ. एक SME को ले लो ना, इतना सब every hundreds and thousands of SMEs will need. Start an SME as a client without taking money. Don't take money. At least you will have a client who is due to turnaround. You will start learning to do turnaround, and then after 2-3 months, you say मैं तो turnaround करता हूँ. Then you become turnaround specialist. Again, happy to talk on this. I know it's just a 90 minutes talk, cannot give you anything, everything, but I'm happy. I'm always available for any advice whenever you want. I will definitely be happy to provide you my little bit. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, is startups. Startup is nothing but a starting of a business, and startups are going to be at the order of the day here. Why? Because new businesses are going to come. There is a tectonic change. New businesses are going to come. For instance, a restaurant will start a home service business. That's a startup. For him, it's a startup. For her, it's a startup. As I said, a sugar factory will start doing immunity sanitizers. Then maybe a turmeric maker will become an immunity booster company. So there will be startups so much. Who else can help a startup except for a finance person? So please work on startups, how to negotiate, how to give a 360 view, from where to raise the finance, how to strategize it. Because most startups are started by an IIT engineer or whoever. It's a very intelligent person, an engineer, but he or she doesn't have that financing brain. You have to contribute and make the startup successful. If a startup you are having a consultant is make it success, he or she will be there for life as a client for you, life. The next is fraud. Frauds are going to increase. And if frauds are going to increase, fraud detection and forensic is going to be a big professional opportunity. So if you're an auditor, you like internal audit, that you continue, but kindly quickly learn forensic and detection. Fraud is going to go up significantly. World has always had fraud. $2 trillion in the world is lost through fraud every year. $2 trillion. And this 2 perhaps will become 6 or 7 or 10, God knows how much, because now frauds are going to go up significantly. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I would feel that don't remain a finance person, become a businessman, become an entrepreneur in terms of your thinking. Have the holistic approach. You understand numbers so well. You understand accounting, auditing, internal control so well. Law, you people understand law so well. Now, what is needed? You need to understand logistics, purchasing, selling, marketing, IT, HR. These are all easily learnable. These are not very difficult. I'm not asking you to become a doctor, that you should learn physics or biology of a human being or an animal. No, I'm not saying that. I'm also not asking you should now become a solar technologist. No, I'm also not saying that. I'm only telling you that whatever business, after all, we are all businessmen, whatever businesses you are working with, have dealt with, or have exposure to, try to understand the whole picture. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I wanted to say. It's now 4:15. Of course, I will be happy to take questions. But one thing, the world as one thing which is going to take place, and which you might tell your clients and your employer, that world had a concept of just-in-time concept, and we the finance people must understand that just-in-time will now become just in case something happens, and just in case is nothing else but risk management. Just in case if the customer doesn't pay, just in case if the supply doesn't give, just in case my best employee goes away and somebody takes him or her away, just in case I don't get financing, just in case I incur a loss, what do I do? Just in case is going to proceed or succeed just in time. Ladies and gentlemen, the world always was broken into before Christ and after Christ, BC and AC. Now that BC, before Christ and after Christ, has become before COVID, after COVID. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's 4:15. Happy to take any number of questions.
Thank you, sir. A few members want to ask question, so we can unmute them. First is Rajesh Shah. Rajesh ji, please ask your question. We have unmuted you. Rajesh ji, are you there? Rakesh ji is there. Rakesh Kavar would like to ask question. Rakesh ji. Saurabh Garg would like to ask question. Saurabh Garg. Vidyut Jain would like to ask question. We have unmuted you. Vidyut ji. I think one more. Vishal ji. Vishal Kulkarni. Vipul ji.
Virag, I think there are some issues. People are not able to speak or so they are free to post the question on chat box, and Robinji will answer the questions. You all are free to post the question on chat box, please. You can write it down immediately.
So they can unmute themselves also. Once we will do it from here. And few question in the question tab also. Sir, can you suggest any book for turnaround strategy? There is one question from the participant side.
Hello.
Yeah, what's your name? Please speak your name and question.
Yeah, Robin sir. Hi, good morning. This is CA Vipul Makwana. It was nice to hear your presentation and the practical implications, what you told us, what will happen in the future possibilities. I have one question regarding finances. How can financing and what will be the role and how will it help us like for the finance professionals?
Can you repeat the question once again, what you have in mind?
Yes, okay. All right. So you told us that financing will be a big opportunity for professionals. So I wanted to know what sense financing will help us and what as chartered accountants can help the companies.
Okay, got it. You see, as financing, paisa sabko chahiye. Everyone will need money, and most entrepreneurs always run out of money. So they will always need, again, fresh money. So a finance professional will have to make a case as to why a banker will lend his money to this so-called entrepreneur. So you will have to make a case. Who can make a case? Only a finance person. So you have to make a business case as to how the money is saved. The banker, there is enough money in the market, enough money. As I said, there is 95 lakh crore of bank advances, there is 21 lakh crore of cash, there is enough money. There is no problem. The country is 220 lakh crore country, so there is enough money. We have to make a case as to saying that your business, the business is such that your money will remain safe. So there'll be enough cash flow, which will start generating from 6 months to 1 year's time. And so you'll have to make a cash flow statement, the future strategy, future business case, and of course, then sell that concept to the banking system and then take it through the banking system and get the money out, either by way of debt, which is banking system, or PE funds, as angel investors, private equity funds. They all have money. They want to invest in India. In fact, post-COVID, come July, August, September, investment will start. But kahan invest karega? Somebody has to explain. Aise invest karo. Kaun explain karega? Finance people will be able to explain best. So that's the role I want you all to play.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So Robin sir, Vidyut Jain here. Thank you so much for your great presentation. Robin sir, so investments, what do you say? Like you're saying that cash is king, but we need to earn money, right, on the cash what we have. So what would be your one or two suggestions in terms of specific industries where we can park our money?
If you are an investor, invest where what is relevant for tomorrow. One. Number two, invest in companies which are ethical. Many companies will give you a lot of stories, but so there is a chance of losing money. And number three, you should understand the business. Let us assume for a moment to get into health, because people are saying health is damn good, but you get into biotechnology business and you don't understand biotechnology, then I would suggest you shouldn't even go there. Like, so when you do not understand something, don't invest in that. So there will always be business opportunity, there'll always be earning, there'll always be profit. You just have to go to the right way. You are an investor, invest in something which you understand, invest in something which is relevant, and invest in someone who is ethical. Ethics is the prime. If the governance is poor, never invest in that place. Look at anyone who has invested in Kingfisher, who has invested in Yes Bank, who has invested in any company which has gone, let's say, Anil Ambani related companies. Governance was poor, so every investor has lost money. And
Right,
that will be
right. Thanks, sir.
Prakash Dadaji, you
Hello.
can ask Prakash ji.
Hello. Hello, Robin sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So as you said that from few of the states and industrial labor law and that law has been removed, so they are not abiding by those laws. So what will happen to all the disputes which will be there, like unfair trade practices or other lower of wages? How it will work later on?
You know, all along we were complaining India has too many laws, and just now when the law has gone, we are again complaining, "Arey, law chala gaya to kaise chalega kaam?" So you are right. The entrepreneurs have to be now more be responsible. But the bottom line is the laws have gone means hire and fire has started. Hire and fire has started. So the trade union, they will all say, "Hum kaam nahi karega, humko overtime chahiye." All that is almost going. So if you have a factory, if you're a company, work, you hire, fire, whatever you do, you manufacture, pay your taxes, you're okay. That's it. So it's a huge change. It's a huge change. We always wanted from the entrepreneur to make that change. Why do you have to shackle us, unshackle us? Now they have started unshackling. It's a huge change for the last 24 hours. And please keep on reading what's going to happen tomorrow. What happens to the existing cases? The existing cases will continue. But of course, with the new law changed, I'm sure the judiciary will take a different lenient view. ठीक है, उसको overtime नहीं दिया चलेगा. उसको नौकरी है ना, ठीक है, चलेगा. So the judiciary is going to take a different view, for sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. This is Dipesh Tariwal. Can you hear me?
I'll give you an example because I run a company. We sacked somebody who was sleeping on work, and we sacked him. And now the judges were saying, how can you sack somebody who was sleeping? Usko chance de do, uska bhi le lo. Abhi new law mein bolega you can sack anybody. So judge will now hopefully say, acha, he was sleeping, sack, theek hai, no problem. You took in somebody else, no, theek hai, chalo, over. So the whole way the society is going to look at how we are going to change or look at our employees are going to change. It's a good or bad, good for sure. We have to be more responsible. That's the whole issue.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, sir, good afternoon. This is Dipesh Tariwal here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, great, sir. Thank you so much for the nice insight. Sir, you have suggested some new business opportunities that are like healthcare, you suggested sanitization business, and F&B also was one of the area which you suggested, food and beverages business. Do you think this is a good time to start a food and beverage business in kind of tier 3 to tier 6 kind of cities, considering what we have seen regarding the shortfall of the foods in the lower middle class or the upper middle class people? So is it a good time to start F&B business right now?
No. Try to understand the food consuming habits of the people post-COVID.
Yeah.
In the larger cities, as it stands today, for the last, let's say, 3 to 4 days, the home chef business has grown significantly. People who are supplying from home kitchen, every home chef is now having over order because people wants to eat. They have not eaten for last 6 weeks, good food. They are now ordering left, right, and center. But this is a short-term phenomenon. As we go along, the eating habits are going to change. Restaurants are not going to come. So if you have an F&B business, the only way to start is you should have a cloud kitchen. Cloud kitchen, please understand, not a restaurant kitchen, cloud, which could be anywhere. It could be on the 4th floor of a building, which is very cheap. That cloud kitchen will have to be COVID compliant. You should be able to deliver in areas which can be through COVID compliance, which means that car or the delivery van has to be sanitized. The person has to wear gloves, sanitized, not touching hand, and deliver. So long distance delivery sanitized is difficult. Short distance is easy as it stands. But this business is going to grow. So basically, you keep in mind, people will continue to eat, but not going to some place in a restaurant. And therefore, what can you do from somewhere else? That's what we need to do.
Sir, my question was related to saying that on the B2B business side, sir.
Come again.
On the B2B business, for the supply of food and grocery items from the manufacturers to the middleman. I was talking about that business, sir.
Hello.
Any supply chain, I have understood, any supply chain business.
Hello.
Any supply chain business will work very well. If it is foods and groceries, it should work very well.
Right. Yeah, that was a question on the food.
Kindly see the competition in that. Kindly see your competition. And if there is competition, then kindly see what you can do better than him or her. And if there is no competition, tab to perfect ho gaya. Perfect ho gaya.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Robin sir.
Hello.
Robin sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I can.
Sir, my question is basically for the bank finance, which you have just told it. But basically, in the today India scenario, the bank is not sanctioning anything. There is no definition of the good company. If you are political, if you are influenceable enough, you will be able to get your loan sanctioned. I have been the victim of lot of things in the Bank of Baroda. We have put up a proposal 1 year back. You can say in June and July. Till today, it is rumoring around it. Because now another 3 bank, 9 bank has merged in 3 bank. So the cascading effect to all the entrepreneur and all the people will be for another 1.5 years. Nobody is working. Suppose for the example, Punjab National Bank, there are 2 banks has been merged. So hello.
Yes, I'm hearing.
Hello.
I can hear you, sir.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, I am Prosenjit Pal, a chartered accountant. How the demand of the CAs will get impacted once the lockdown is withdrawn in the changed socio-economic scenario? What do you think, sir? Whether CAs will have to expertise their artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, or we can go on the auditing and taxation issues. More elaborately, sir, issue kindly highlighted. Hello.
I was not able to hear the last portion.
All are requested to ask one by one. Before asking, you should ask, tell your name, and then only you ask, please.
And if everyone else can be mute, that would be nice, because I think a lot of people are unmuted.
Hello.
All are
Sir, this is
muted now.
Continue. Prosenjit Pal, me a chartered accountant. How the demand of the CAs will get impacted once the lockdown is withdrawn in the revised socio-economic scenario? What do you think, sir? Because I think CAs are the traditional expertise in the auditing, accounting, taxation areas. But I think world in the revised scenario, world is looking after the persons who have expertise in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, advanced technology. What do you think, sir? Whether CAs will have what do you think, sir?
Unfortunately, the traditional chartered accountancy knowledge will not be given as much importance in the future. It will continue because accounting and auditing is not going to go away. So next year's accounts will still have to be audited. The next year accounts still has to be made. So the short term, perhaps perhaps we will still be able to do what we were doing. But for newcomers, let's say the newly qualified CAs, if they are again starting to enter into the accounting and auditing, that would be difficult. So we will all have to now learn new skills. And unless with news, because that's the truth of life now. If we do not understand today what is truth, we have to ask ourselves, if you have a business, you have to ask, will anybody is there to buy my product? Similarly, if you are a CA, traditional CA, you have to ask yourself, are there enough clients to buy my skills? If you find no, then you will have to change and you have to learn new skills. But that is unfortunately how the world has become. So the traditional CA's role will diminish, especially for newly qualified CAs. I feel that is a big challenge now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay.
Santosh ji, you can ask now. Santosh Doshi ji. Santosh Doshi ji, please ask. Unmute yourself and then ask.
Sir, good afternoon. This is Chartered Accountant Doshi from Pune. Sir, I just would like to ask. I would like to ask you about whether there is any scope for FDI as well as ECB related finance consultancy in future.
Absolutely, there is, because there will always be difference of interest between India and foreign countries. So FDI, ECBs, foreign currency borrowings will always be of a great interest. It is financing, it is raising of money. Therefore, if you are skilled in that, that's a great opportunity. That will continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
FDI and ECBs in India will grow because now new investments are going to take place in India. For sure, it will grow. And there will be automatic hedging because exports will grow. So people wouldn't mind borrowing in foreign currency. Automatic hedging ho jayega na. तो ये बहुत अच्छी जगह होगा. It's a very good thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There was one question which was being raised, and there was little disturbance that there is a loan proposal with Bank of Baroda, if I am not mistaken, or something, and they are not funding, and there is a lot of political issues around that. I am not able to give you ideas or advice on specific matters, but at a broad angle, I must tell you, if you have a good project, the project is good, bank will fund, because banks are looking for fundable projects for sure, because bank ka bhi to target hota hai, uska bhi profit lagana padta hai. He also has to grow, and they also have to get promotion. So if they do not find good proposals, how will they grow? How will they get promotions? So if you have a good proposal, I still believe you can do it. Please look at your proposal per se and make it more stronger. You should believe in the proposal first, not what the entrepreneur is saying. Let somebody wants to put up a sugar factory. It's a non-fundable today, but somebody wants to put a sanitizer factory. It's highly fundable today. So that sort of changes perhaps you will have to go for. And fraud and greed and bribery and corruption will continue. It was there for last 100 years. It will be there for next 100 years. That's not going to go.
Rakesh ji.
Any more questions, friend?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You are.
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation and a very practical thoughts shared by you. I have one question. I am into debt syndication since last 12 years. Now, practically what we faced in nowadays is banks directly lend to pretty good companies or companies having good cash flow and good business. They directly approach to them and they prepare financial CMA projections themselves. So in these tough times now, and they don't lend to slightly weaker companies or companies with bad ratios. So why good companies will involve financial project finance consultants to arrange project finance for them? while banks are not lending to slightly weaker companies? So this is my question to you, sir.
This is the truism. Nobody likes weak people. Banks don't like weak clients. And as you know, 10 lakh crore is a bad debt in the bank's books, which means that they have lent to weaker companies. They have lent to some good companies who have run away, and there have been frauds and weaknesses. So having lost 10 lakh crore, which is the NPA account on in the bank's books, this is going to continue. If we do not understand the reality, we are in a fool's paradise. So if you are chasing a loan proposal which is weak, please make it strong. Speak to the entrepreneur, make it strong. A weak proposal will not be funded anymore. Those days are gone. I do understand there may be still some political pressure, still corruption will take place, but bank chairman does not want to go lose his provident fund and gratuity anymore. They don't want to go to the jail anymore. So what used to happen 3 to 4 years back is not going to happen anymore. You have to have a good proposal, and that is where the financing person's role comes in. Make a suboptimal proposal an optimal proposal. Enter into a dialogue with them or with your client. Say, sir, ye chalega nahi. So let us think through as to how we can make it more sellable, more profitable, more cash generatable. Ye karna padega. There is no other option.
Like adding more collateral.
Collateral is one issue. I don't believe collateral is the heart and soul of any proposal. Collateral is a part of a tick box. Box hota hai, to my one tick is collateral is there 125% or not. But that's a tick box question. You can still get money if you don't have collateral. But the proposal per se has to be very good. That's the starting point, sir.
Okay. But then why a good company will go through a professional, sir? When banks are directly coming to good companies.
That is not true. Banks, I am a company, I run a company where I have cash surplus, there is no debt. But the banks doesn't come to me for debts. No, I still have to go to a consultant for future proposal. That's not true. I don't think that's majorly true. Kabhi kabhi ho sakta hai, but that's not majorly true. Because the CFO of a large company, let's say Glaxo CFO. Glaxo CFO has no time to visit the bank chairman's office 5 times. It is you and me will have to go and do it as a consultant.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Well answered, sir. I got this message.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Banerjee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Banerjee. This is Dhruv Jain. I had a question for you. Thank you very much for the detailed the discussion you had. Very, very enlightening. Sir, just wanted to get your views whether, the government measures which are currently being done on this COVID-related pandemic, in your view, do you think that this is kind of sufficient? Is it going to give in that kind of boost to the economy? Is it, does more needs to be done? Can we just have your views on that, please?
The economist fraternity does not know what to do. What is the Indian government doing? Indian government, if you notice, you will see that they are trying to do chota karke reform, little. And the deficit financing in this budget, which is 2021, was 7.5 lakh crore. Now the government has announced that 7.5 lakh crore, I will make it 12 lakh crore. So deficit financing will go up by 3.5 lakh crore. Now the question here is, you can say, why 3.5 lakh crore? Deficit financing can go by 7 lakh crore, 8 lakh crore, 10 lakh crore. The good point what the government is doing today, they are trying to do whatever they can. They are also trying to protect our rating, country rating. The country rating is already BBB, as you know. So moment we fall one more notch, we will become a non-investable grade. So they're trying to protect that. So while COVID has to happen, to my mind, it's a very responsible government, very responsible step they're trying to. Not like USA, they did 10% of the GDP as their deficit financing because they have money. They have world's money. Every Japanese, every Chinese have invested bought bonds of US companies. We have no money. What we have to do, we have to print money. The moment you print money, deficit financing goes up, our rating will come down. So it's a $1 million question. What is right? What is wrong? But I personally believe, because I also deal with the government quite closely because of this my position in CII. They are happy to listen. They are listening all the time, and they're correcting their course all the time, which is very good. And we are a poor country after all, so much only they can do. We can do, not more. By the way, I'm not related to the government. I have nothing to do with the government. I'm a professional like you and me, like you.
Robin sir, good evening. This is Harish Desai here from Mumbai. Thank you for sharing your heart out with the wonderful knowledge. So just one thing I wanted to ask, can you suggest some practical steps to get into blockchain consulting for professionals who are trying into traditional practice and now want to shift course?
What is the basic question? You want some courses or you want some what?
Can you suggest some practical steps to get into blockchain?
Okay. Got it. Do some good course. And India में इतना good course नहीं है. Go do some international courses. And international courses are now happening in a webinar. It was not available. I think 3 to 6 months, if you spend on these courses, you will be able to learn quite well. Because of accounting knowledge we finance people have. Blockchain is all about debit credit.
Thank you, sir.
There are a lot of courses. Not a lot of courses, but there are a few courses. And that's why, because there are not too many, your competition is also not too many. 3-4 साल में बहुत competition आ जाएगा. उसके पहले you should go off the block.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Rajesh ji, please ask. Rajesh Shaji, unmute yourself and ask.
Unmuted. Robin sir, Rajesh Shah.
Rajesh bhai. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Suggest those 2 books that you already read. I have already read. So please tell the whole audience about your books. They can buy, and this was a fantastic book that has changed in last 6 months for me. So this will change to whole my CA fraternity, which are already listening to it. So please suggest those 2 books. All the listeners. Robin sir has wrote those 2 books, which is going to help lot to you. So that is one part. And secondly, sir, I want to ask you, what about the small and medium enterprise going to have a future after COVID-19, including the professionals, whether they have to become kind of a merge and then work, or either they have to increase their network, how they want to work? Because I think a very bleak future for a small and medium enterprise after COVID will going to happen.
I will answer this small and medium enterprises question first. Incidentally, I'm the board of SME Chamber of Commerce. So I deal with SMEs quite a bit in my capacity of the board member as SME. In fact, 3 days back, on behalf of SME, I made a presentation to Mr. Nitin Gadkari personally, on video, of course. So, contrary to the belief, I think SMEs have a great scope. The SMEs have to now reinvent themselves. Whatever they were doing, they will have to say, "Iska market hai ki nahi?" Or "Iska market nahi hai, tab change karo."
Okay.
In that, with Mr. Nitin Gadkari, I must tell you, because we are all finance people or belonging to the same community, there was one agriculturist who was on the call, and the agriculturist said, "Sir, मैं तो कोविड का, कोरोना का मंदिर लगाने वाले हूँ." क्यों? Because कोविड होके क्या हो गया? पहले हमारे एग्रीकल्चरल फार्म में कोई आदमी नहीं मिलते थे. अभी all the migrant labor has come back. Now I have enough labor. I can enough produce. हमारा तरक्की हो गया. Now he's an SME, by the way. He's an SME agriculturist. So, sir, as a professional, I would request all of you to reinvent the SME. If it's relevant, not relevant, and see what he or she can do in the new demand cycle. There is a new demand coming up. The whole world has become zero. Sabko zero ho gaya. Now you zero mein aage badhna hai. And the second question, I think you said that I must tell about my book, which I normally don't. But I've written 2 books, ladies and gentlemen. Who Cheats and How? Who Cheats and How is based on corporate scams. And I have written a book on Who Blunders and How. That is on business mistakes. And as you know, most businesses are on business successes, but nobody writes on business failures. This is the only book on business failures. So there is
that will help now overcome these failures which everybody will going to have, and they have to start zero and again go for the next level.
That's true, sir. Absolutely correct. Absolutely.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Now next question from Sapna, I think. Sapna, unmute yourself. Sir, many are asking about some courses on blockchain and some artificial intelligence or books. If you can suggest any. Yes, please ask.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Robin sir. I want to ask, can you suggest some roadmap on how to go about becoming a turnaround specialist, or even something on financing courses, as in some books or something that we can read?
I wish I had that answer, and I don't have the answer. And that's a good news. Because there is no books, and because there are no ready-made courses, there are a lack of professionals in this segment. So you have to start working and start reinventing and start thinking how I get into these two areas. So read case studies. Read case studies. It's not easy to get case studies. You have to get into Harvard Business Review. You have to subscribe to MIT Sloan Management Review. Then they have case studies. They have to buy those case studies. So that is one method of doing it. But there are no books. Is there a turnaround book? The answer is no. There are no turnaround books, unfortunately. There would be one or two old turnaround books on American, but that doesn't work in India, most of the circumstances. So we have to now start thinking and believing in yourself that I can do a turnaround for someone. Aram se ho jayega. And in case you have a trouble, let me.
Yeah. Okay.
I know I have not answered your question fully, but there is no answer for this. And
Yeah,
that is why
right.
there's a lack of professionals here.
Thank you, sir.
I must write a book on turnaround, I must say. It will sell very well.
I think sir, Vipin want to ask some question. Vipin ji, are you there? Unmute yourself. Yeah, you can ask. Vipin ji, you have to unmute yourself.
Is there a scope in the post-COVID area for end-to-end office furnishing solutions? Do you think physical office are going to be the future of the day? And if yes, what kind of a COVID compliant offices setup can be made?
At this juncture, I think the business community is struggling as to what is social distancing. Some companies which doesn't follow social distancing, they have a lot of people working in the same office, and there are loads of them and like that. Let's say, I don't know from which city you are in, most of the office high office rent areas, they pump in with people working without much distance, back to back they are sitting. I think the government is going to come up with a law of social distancing that you cannot have two persons sitting without a gap of 6 feet or whatever. Unless that clarity comes, I would say don't move into office furnishing. But if you ask me, there is a very good case for what you're thinking, because in times to come, working from home will only work in some segment. But a manufacturing companies would still need offices. Their working from home, to my mind, will not work, and therefore COVID compliant office spaces may work, but I would like you to wait till some guideline comes. Government may decide not to do anything at all, just chalne do, because herd immunity ho jayega. As you know, in Sweden there is no lockdown. That's the only country in the world there is no lockdown, because they are thinking that if everybody is open and everybody is open to virus, they will all become immune to the virus. That's called herd immunity. Will the government in India feel of herd immunity come September, October? Then your business will not work. So I would think wait for 3-4 months to see what the government is thinking. Then only invest in that. Otherwise not. Because lot of space will also get released, like Infosys of the world and Tata, Infosys. A lot of software companies have already declared that 25% of people will work only physically and 75% will work from home. God knows whether that will happen, not happen, we don't know. If that happens, then a lot of office space will get opened. Then your demand for furnishing for those office spaces with COVID compliant, I doubt very much. One more important issue for your business concept is people will not have cash. There's huge constraint of cash. So people will try to save cash. So even if they feel they should do, they will not do. So I doubt very much that the business will work in the short term.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, now I think we have covered all the questions by all the participants. So thank you so much. Now over to Amrit ji. Amrit ji.
Yeah. Thank you, Robin sir. It was really a talk direct from your heart, and we were all benefited greatly by the open discussion and sincere advice to finance professional to evolve into newer areas, like from accountant to become a finance professional and finance expert, and also to venture into various new areas like artificial intelligence, blockchain, becoming turnaround specialist. These are really sincere advices which can come from a true professional. In this tough COVID times, you have led a new roadmap for professionals like us. We are really thankful to you from bottom of our heart. So, friends, we all are thankful to you also for sparing time on this Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Though nowadays, due to COVID, all days are like Sundays, but still you have let go of your siesta and listen to Robin sir. We are also thankful to Virag and Abhishek for making this platform available to JCF and have a prolific personality like Robin share his heart with us. Thanks a lot.
Sir, one last question from Poonam ji. Poonam ji, unmute yourself.
Hello, Robin sir. Thanks a lot for this wonderful sharing. Just wanted to share something as well as ask a question. The sharing was that as a smaller part of turnaround specialist, I have myself had an opportunity to work as a business operations manager across regional operations of a software company. So it's a very fulfilling and wonderful job where you're chasing the business KPIs with different teams, coordinating the efforts and the exchange of numbers, as well as doing the forecasting and budgeting activities, as well as actively participating in the launch of different internal products or products which are to be later on sold in the market, as well as doing the staff restructuring activities. So that has been a very good experience so far. But now the question is that I will be soon moving countries. So I plan to move to Canada. So I just wanted to have your guidance as to whether these roles are globally in demand for chartered accountants. Will it be a good thing to continue searching or looking for such roles in another country as well for me? Thank you.
My short answer to you is, Poonam, as soon as you go to Canada, you must pass the CPA, local CPA exam. So please do your CPA Canada, and you will get a lot of exemptions because you are a CA in India. Without a CPA qualification, you will be zero. They will not recognize you whatsoever.
Okay.
And day one, you will not be able to start turnaround there because there are legal issues which you will not know. So I suggest to work with somebody for 6 months to 1 year, get that understanding of the legal laws, the intricacies, and then slowly start as a turnaround specialist, because Canada definitely needs turnaround specialists. I worked in that country myself.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Great country to work. It's the best place in the world to live, Canada and Australia and New Zealand. Do the CPA, then world will be at your feet. It will be so successful. And they believe Indian accountants are the best.
Okay, okay. But without CPA, they wouldn't acknowledge.
No, no, no. Without CPA, you will start as an accountant. You will have to fill in ledger accounts. Don't do that. That's a disaster. And you will feel so bad about it. And then you will see lot of ethical issue. No, don't even think about it. Please do the CPA. And it's very easy, quite easy. You'll get a lot of exemptions. You can start your studies right away.
Okay, okay, sir.
You
I'll
can
do
do
that.
CPA Canada sitting in India also.
Yeah, they just need me to have the residential status, so
Okay,
which
okay.
I am in the process of getting. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you, Poonam. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Robin sir, can you briefly share something about these two books you have written about who cheats and how, and who blunders and how? Our
Okay.
audience will really would like to be enlightened.
Okay. So quick one. Who Cheats and How is a book on business scams. It has over 350 live examples of business scams all over the world. So if you want to do a scam, you know exactly how to do one. And if you want to prevent one, you also know how it is done. Therefore, you can prevent one. It is already gone into 3 editions. Obviously, everyone wants to know how to do a scam. And it is also available in Hindi, English, and Marathi. I wrote in English, then it got translated into Marathi and Hindi. And this is the only book in the world. There is no other book on scams in general. There are scam-specific books like Harshad Mehta scam and so on and so forth. But all types of scam, whether an accounting scam, banking scam, stock market scam, corporate scams, every type of scam, Ponzi scheme, everything is there. The second book, which has just got published 3 to 4 months back, is Who Blunders and How? Who blunders? First is Who Cheats and How? The second one is Who Blunders and How? Who Blunders and How is all on business mistakes, business failures. There are books only on business successes. No one has ever written a book on business failures. But only if you fail, you learn. When you were a child, we learned how to walk because we failed so many times when we were learning to walk. So this is a book which also has over 300 live examples from all over the world. Every type of mistake, almost every type of mistake is there. It's stories, small stories, and the mistake they have made, and therefore the learnings thereof. Who did the blunder and how did they do it, and of course the learnings therefrom. It's both are very easily readable books. It's for Aam Janta, and if now of course you can only read it in Kindle version because you can't get a physical copy at this juncture. Now that you are at home, maybe you would like to read it in Kindle version. And in case you don't like, you can debit me the value of the book.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice. Those books makes an interesting reading, I believe. And especially it may help those who want to become turnaround specialists to first hand.
Both the books will help the turnaround specialist. Both the books. Especially
really
the second one. The mistake one will help them more. Although I did not want to say because I should not sell my book, but that book will definitely help.
Oh, that's great, really. Thanks a lot once again. Yeah, for being with us.
Thank you so much. God bless
So
you all.
Bafna ji is also there. Bafna ji. TC Bafna ji.
Yeah. Yes. Hello.
Bafna ji, your special remarks, sir. Closing.
Okay. Closing में.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Please continue.
Okay. It's a great pleasure for me to present the vote of thanks for the respectable Robin sir, and it is a very sensible and very valuable guidance on these professional people during this after COVID period and now in the modern the international scenarios and all. Very good session, very nice, fruitful results also. You will definitely learn something from this guidance and all the lectures. Thank you very much for this, Robin Banerjee sir. Thank you again.
Thank you, Bafna ji. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. And Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, sirs. Thank you.
Yeah, Amritji.
Yeah. So friends, one more thought was coming to my mind about this turnaround specialist. Nowadays, lot of cases have gone through IBC, and few of them got resolved also. So those will make really good case studies for becoming turnaround specialist. How to position yourself, or how to do the restructuring proposal for defunct companies or insolvent companies, just like this. So, what do you say, Robinji?
Good idea, Amrit. Good idea. Very good idea. Very good idea.
Fine, okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Please. Yeah, stay safe, stay secure at home. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, all. So we are ending webinar right away here. Thank you so much, Robin sir, for wonderful interaction and answering all the questions. No question is unanswered in this session. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.